and certify that only public business matters lawfully exempt from open meeting requirements by Virginia law, and only such public business matters as were identified in the motion convening the closed session were heard, discussed, or considered.
Second.
Motion's been made and properly seconded. Do you certify, Mr. Sisson?
Aye.
Mr. Howard?
Aye.
Ms. Bravo?
Aye.
Ms. Brooks? The chair certifies. Any other business to come before the Service Authority?
Move to adjourn.
Motion's been made and properly seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We're adjourned. Call this meeting of the Wireless Authority Board of Directors to order. Any amendments to the agenda?
No, sir.
This time, open the floor for public comment. Anyone wishing to address the Wireless Authority may do so at this time. I just ask that you try to limit your comments to 3 minutes. Thank you. Seeing none, go back. Reports of members of the board. Any member have a report? County Attorney,
No report this time, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
entertain a motion on the consent agenda.
Move to approve consent agenda as presented.
Motion's been made and properly seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Chair votes aye. Manager's report.
No report.
Any other business to come before the Wireless Authority?
Move we adjourn.
Motion's been made and properly seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Chair votes aye. We are adjourned. This time I'm going to call to order the King George Board of Supervisors. Any amendments to the agenda?
No, sir.
This time I'll open the floor for public comment. Anyone wishing to speak may do so at this time. And again, I ask that you try to limit your comments to 3 minutes per person. Thank you. Thank you.
Sorry, I don't have enough copies for everyone. We didn't have school today, and ink is really expensive.
We can share if you want to share that.
And all the pictures are going to be sliding through with a couple more. Hi, my name is Anna Nicely, and I'm a senior at King George High School. We're all here today to talk to you about the King George High School track and field team and our conditions that we're dealing with at the track. The problem is our track team has been very successful. We're coming off from last week when both girls and guys won the first Conference 22 tournament. We both came in third place at a large invitational called the Fred Hardy Invitational. I had over 40 schools. This past spring, the girls team won districts for the 4th year in a row. And even just a few weeks ago, we had one of our seniors, Miranda Green, signed to play and receive a scholarship for a D1 school, A&T in North Carolina. So our team has been really successful, and we wanted to make sure you guys were aware of how hard we're always working. The problem that we're here today, though, is our track is deteriorating awfully fast. You guys can see it. If you see watermarks and things like that, that's because there's holes in the track, and it's going down to, in some places, concrete, which is really unsafe and dangerous for us because we're slipping while we're running, and it makes it so schools don't want to come and have track meets with us. We very rarely ever have meets, and in addition to the deteriorating track problems we have with, it's because we do not have adequate facilities. Our bathrooms consist of a porta potty that doesn't even lock, and it's rarely serviced at all. It's often really quite disgusting, and we have to beg to sometimes be able to go into the middle school because it's so gross. And then also we have 4 old bleachers, which are okay for practice, but you can't have 4 and 5 or even just like 3 teams come and be expected to set up shop and set up camp at a place that doesn't really have adequate facilities. I've already been speaking with our athletic director, Mr. Fisher, and the board and the school board, and they have understand this problem and are planning to create and send you guys a CIP in the next couple of months. Their plan is to build a new track at the high school over in the practice field area. And because this, while more expensive than just resurfacing the track, it would ensure that the track could be locked, and so the track doesn't deteriorate as quickly, and there's already the facilities over there for bathrooms and concessions. So we could host bigger meets and actually have paid admissions and things like that. Because you can't really expect someone to pay $6 to come to a track meet that doesn't even have a real bathroom. The one thing I want to close with you guys is, yes, I'm a senior at King George High School, and I've been a part of the track community my last 4 years in high school and much more before this. I'm here today even though I'm not coming back after 2 weeks from now after states, because I don't think it's right that I was actually happy that I didn't get to have the senior night, because I'm so embarrassed of schools coming to our horrible facilities, because I love my track team, I love my track family, so we're so great and we deserve so much more, and when people come to our facilities, it's really just embarrassing. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Brooke West, and I'm a sophomore at King George High School, and I'm running on the cross-country team and the winter track team. When I came to King George High School this year, I was really excited to become a part of a really dedicated team, and we've accomplished so much this season, and I'm so proud of us. Both the girls and the boys team is third of 40 teams at the Fred Hardy meet, and we're conference champs for the first time ever. Many of us will also go on to participate in the regional and the states meets this weekend and next weekend. I've come to realize we have so many serious and dedicated runners would definitely benefit from a new track if the opportunity presented itself. And I feel the effort we put into practice and our team every day deserves more recognition than we receive. And that we should get the same support that every other King George High School sports teams get. Which includes adequate facilities and an area for us to practice in. I think that a team can only get as good as its resources provide it to be, and I would like to see our team grow and become much better in the future.
Hi, I'm Brady Williams. I'm a senior at King George High School. I've run track all of my high school and as well as middle school. I'd like to note that facilities or new facilities would be very nice. The bleachers, as Anna had said already, we can't expect for our fans to come out and support us standing for 4 hours at a track meet. No one wants to do that. So bleachers would be nice, as well as bathrooms. We go to other schools expecting them to have facilities, restrooms for us to change into uniforms, use the restrooms, something clean, not locks. We don't have that, so it's kind of, like Anna said, it's embarrassing to have to host teams at our track. As we were thinking about what else, what the facility would stand for, and it kind of shows that the school doesn't necessarily have pride for the track team. Just showing when you come to a school, you think that, or when new people come to the school, they look for facilities, or the facilities look like their sports team. So if you look at the track, you wouldn't really think we do much, or that we're that we're good. I'd also like to note that all the years of high school we've been first in track, we've been district champions, moved on to states and to regionals and states all 4 years of my high school career. And I just like to see, even though I'm a senior, I'd like to see the program continue to move on. Whether I'm a part of it or not, I'd like to leave the school better than how I had it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Maddie Amos, and I'm a sophomore at King George High School. I'm new to the county and I'm new to the state. And coming from the cross-country team, I had heard of the track team's prestige and how they've been led to victory countless times by Coach Park. And coming to the track for the first time, I did not see a team that was that prestigious, because the track does not carry the might of the team. I could only see the track that was run down. And now that I've been part of the team for a few months, I see a track that's, well, maybe it could be a bit better, and definitely could, but it's my track, and it's my team, and I'm proud of my team, and my track is, I'm not as proud of that, but I'm proud of the work that we do on it, day in and day out. And someone mentioned that we're only as good as our resources, and if our resources look like this, imagine what they could be if we had a track that was newer and not as run down. So, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Ashley Perkins. I'm a junior at King George High School. This is my second year here in the county, and joining the track team last year, during my first year, I was introduced to a lot of success, and I got to see how dedicated this team was, and I was really excited to be a part of that. And putting in the dedication during practice and giving it out in a meet and stuff like that, it'd be nice to have a nice track to bring teams in so that we can show how good we are, and have a nice track as well. But like I said, our team is really dedicated, and recently with all the snow that we've gotten, we've even gone out there to shovel it so that we can use it. And the track is deteriorating mostly because it's open to the public and it's not just for our team to use. And a deteriorating track is like a deteriorating pair of sneakers, and every runner knows that you need a new pair of sneakers every once in a while because you need them new, or you need to get them regularly because they run down, and it can pose a threat to your health and cause injury, just like a deteriorating track, because a deteriorating track can increase your injury because of the concrete isn't good to run on. And the deteriorating track also threatens our continuous potential of success because of injury. But in conclusion, I'm extremely proud of my track team, and I'd like to be proud of the track that I run on as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Kristen Hornbaker. I'm currently a junior at King George High School, and I've lived here all my life. I have been on the King George track team for 5 years now. In those 5 years, we have had many victories. Without the track that our community provided for us, we would not have been able to accomplish those victories, and for that I thank you. This leads to our concern today. Currently, our track is deteriorating, making it unusable. It is embarrassing to our county when other schools have to use a porta potty as a restroom. It's upsetting to me when my friends and family don't want to come out and support me because they have to stand for 5 hours, to watch me, and not a lot of people can stand for 5 hours. So I would please strongly consider that the capital improvement plan that the school board will be supplying you all with in the upcoming month. This issue is very important to us, and we do not want it to be overlooked. We invite you all to go out and take a walk along the track so you can see for yourself what it looks like. If you have any questions, we would be gladly to answer them. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment?
Hard to follow. Good-looking ladies. As a group of owners at Eagle Bay, we want to help contribute to our economic recovery and our county's tax base.
Your name for the record, Ed. Sorry.
Ed Jeezy, President of SE Ventures Incorporated, which happens to be the owners of Eagle Bay. However, we run into a problem. And the previous Eagle Bay property owner received a rezoning from a previous board of supervisors on 7 June 1990. Minutes of the meeting state that the land was to be rezoned from A2 to 195 acres of A1 and 142 acres of R1. The owner was to provide a meets and bounds plat showing the division of this land. No further zoning has been granted by the Board of Supervisors on this property. The plan of zoning with meets and bounds was provided to King George County Community Development staff, Bagby, Caldwell, and Associates, which happen to be the engineers for the property for the previous owner, and are ours today as well. And I have had many discussions and emails with staff concerning a change from R1 to A1 zoning for 22 acres of this land. Originally, that had been a spot where they planned to have 3 holes of golf to play through. And it was also to be, they wanted to have a golf clubhouse there, which only could happen in A2. But no zoning was ever sought for that. Unauthorized changes of zoning are discussed in Article 1.6.2 of the zoning ordinance. And I know Mr. Reed didn't make any changes, and we didn't make any changes back then, we weren't involved. But we can find no documents supporting this change, yet we find many documents supporting the original zoning in 1990. Currently, we have reached a stalemate with staff, and our latest preliminary plan that we submitted was returned because they said the zoning was wrong. And we strongly disagree with that. We think it was right, the engineers think it was correct. So we can see no legitimate reason why we should be denied the original zoning on this property. And hence, we would request to be placed on the board agenda or granted a closed session, or lastly, some other venue in which to try to resolve the situation. Once that's done, I think we can help some economic development and get some nice houses down there to help your tax base. And I'll give you some copies of this. Thank you very much for your time, and I hope we can resolve this fairly quickly and amicably such that we can continue to make progress on both sides.
Thank you, Mr. Beasley.
My name is Mary Trotter with the Shiloh District in King George. After the budget meeting last Tuesday, the chairperson mentioned about organizing a presentation during a future board meeting with short explanation. We all think that's a great idea, but it also kept many citizens wondering why Shore hasn't been planning public meetings in this area on their own. They have been in audiences at several Board of Supervisor meetings along various counties, town halls, and public meetings concerning the parking in this area, and even have made statements during public comment time. Why isn't Shore doing something? If this drilling is supposed to be so great as they state for this area, why aren't they being proactive about educating the community? Some have almost drifted to the fact that Shore explanation is like a thief in the night. Before they steal your possessions, they surely don't ring the front doorbell. Again, I would like to thank the board for allowing the individual speakers and being very lenient with the 3-minute time. There were a lot of people that had never spoken before, are not used to speaking publicly. But then, when I actually thought I was going to have some confidence, the chairman spoke about how citizens, what they should or should not state during a board meeting, and to stop being repetitive on their comments. A chairperson's responsibility is to moderate the public comment time in an orderly and timely manner. Regardless of the subject, it's unethical for any chairperson to state, suggest, or tell the citizens what they can or cannot talk about. It doesn't matter what the chairperson perceives as boring, uninteresting, irrelevant, etc. Every citizen's comment should be voiced. While some comments might be boring to some audience members, it might not be boring to others. Who are any of us to judge what one person has to say is more important than anyone else? Yes, perhaps there are individuals that are more diverse in public speaking than others. There are many suggestions on how to deliver a point that are correct, for instance, adding new topics, targeting points with information, etc. Perhaps the chairperson could volunteer at the next Toastmaster meeting and help improve the citizens with their skills. Granted, it is the residents' open time for comment, and it could be more efficient. But again, it's not the chairperson or any board member's privilege to dictate what any citizen talks about. Perhaps if more supervisors held town hall meetings, used social media, less citizens would feel that Board of Supervisors meetings were their only time to speak and voice their opinion, good or bad. Not all of us grocery shop where the Board of Supervisors do or attend local public functions where they do, as stated by the chairperson at the January 23rd meeting. So please, it might be boring to some, but you do represent and were elected by the people. Their voices should be heard. And Supervisor Brooks, I probably have lost a lot of money. A lot of people were betting that you were going to ride around with BoS during the snowstorm, but unfortunately probably that didn't happen. I hope it does in the future though. You did promise.
Thank you, Ms. Trout. Anyone else? This time we'll close public comment. I want to address a couple of things before we go to board reports. First, on the track, you young ladies articulated your issue very well. We're proud of you as students because you're our future, and what you presented was professional, to the point, and concise. And you've done the right thing by going through the school board. The school board will be the decision maker on what gets done with their facilities. And we appreciate your input, so we're more informed about the situation when it comes to us from the school board. So we appreciate you taking the time tonight to do that. For the Mr. Veazey thing, I'd like to ask the county administrator and the county attorney to take that and come back to us, or get with Mr. Veazey, whichever you prefer, and report back on the status of that. Just to clarify a comment or two, I didn't say anyone couldn't be repetitive, I just said it wasn't very beneficial. So there's a difference. I wasn't stifling anybody's ability to speak. I just want to make sure everybody understands that. At some point in time, in these longer meetings, if the comment's been made, we've heard it. So if you want to say it again, you can, but it really it's not going to help anything or change anything. So that was the whole purpose there. And at this time, we can go to board reports. Mr. Sisson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd echo your comments relative to the track team, and all of you did a great job with your presentation. And you know, our job as we look at funding and the CIP is to balance needs, and we balance those needs based on these kind of inputs. And when we get into establishing a CIP and moving forward with it, we're considering things like buying school buses and ambulances and fire trucks, or new tracks and things like that. So we've worked with the school board over the last few years to upgrade a number of facilities. Really, in order of their priorities, the football field was number one on their list relative to the athletic facilities. You know that, and it's not just a football stadium; it's a number of things we play there. So we look forward to seeing that CIP request through the schools, and would congratulate you on the outstanding job you've done over the years. Not just your group, but even prior to you, a lot of success on the track team here in King George. Thank you all for keeping that going. So, but I think even more important than your success on as a member of the track team is your ability to get up tonight, deliver the presentation that you did, and how you've matured in that way. So thank you for making that very professional. Outstanding job. Instead of reporting on a lot of things tonight, Mr. Chairman, I'm just going to talk about a couple of topics. I mentioned to Mr. Brown from VDOT a couple times about the condition of the dirt roads in the county. You know, it's something we've addressed many times over the years, and the challenge with the lack of maintenance now is that we're progressing from what were gravel roads to truly dirt roads, and with this freezing and thawing that's going on, some of them are becoming almost impassable, and that's a problem. It's not a matter of just quality of potholes and dust and things like that. Those aren't necessarily good things. We've talked about those with some of the roads. That was a factor when we established prioritization that led to the Eagles Nest being paved and the other roads we've been looking at. But right now it's a matter of whether you're going to get stuck or not. And freezing and thawing, VDOT can't control. Putting gravel on the roads, they can. I called Mr. Brown myself and let him know he really needs to be paying attention to that. I think as a board we need to kind of come together and put some heat on that as well. It's just the maintenance is not happening, and that's the problem. And then secondly, I wanted to give a big thanks to Dominion and Northern Neck. I think we had some of the largest concentration of power outages anywhere around. There ended up being over 3,000 outages at one particular point in time when I saw 4,000 at one point in time. And watching the outage reports, there was a good time where I couldn't see the outage reports because I was without power for about 24 hours. But considering the magnitude of the storm, to have everyone pretty much back up and running within that 24-hour period, I think is commendable. My dad was a lineman for 47 years, so I know what those guys go through when these storms happen, and I thank them for what they did. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Howard.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I too would like to congratulate the ladies track team for their comments. Let me give you a little history on the track. I recommended that it be paved in the 80s when I was on the school board. I was on the school board for 4 years, 88 to 91, 92. At the time, we could have gotten it paved or resurfaced or rubberized is really what we wanted, what we needed. It was $75,000. When they finally did it, and I was off the school board, it was $375,000. So now, go back a little further than that, well, not further than that, but in some of the tracks around, because my daughter ran track, and it was that composite, it's like asphalt, that if you fell down, you came up bleeding, hands, and we do walk on the track, we're on the track, so we know what conditions you are. The good thing about it is that there is a plan, seems to me. I was hoping that when we were able to do the football field, the sports facility there, football, soccer, hockey, that there could be a track there. It would have been the ideal place for it, but there simply wasn't room, as I understand. So, I mean, you'd have had stands, you'd have restrooms, you'd have had everything. But if it's going to be on the practice field, which is right adjacent to it, you do have restroom facilities, you do have everything that you need right there, concession stands. But yeah, I'm a big proponent of this. I ran track in high school. I love it. I love to watch it. I just go sometimes and watch all the events. I love all that kind of stuff. So, I'm hopeful that we'll be able to find some money to fix it up for you. Because what we don't want is a good athlete hurting herself, just running track, just doing the sport that she loves. So, but it's good to hear that the plans are for a new track, and it's going to be at the high school site. I'm really happy to hear that. I didn't know that there really was space up there for it. I thought we were stuck at the middle school, to be honest with you. I am going to have a town hall meeting in March. I'm going to try to do it in this room, so I don't have a time and a date yet, but I will have one in March, and I'll notify everybody when that's going to happen. I would want to remind folks of the King George Food Pantry that we have. There is some difficult times for people, and in talking to Dave Coleman, the pantry turns over twice a month. And there's a whole new group of people that are coming to the pantry for the first time. And it's those folks who have been affected by the Affordable Health Care Act. They are either laid off or they now have a part-time job. And they don't have the money that they had before to buy what they need for their families. So they're at the pantry. The day I talked to Dave, the previous day there were 11 families in one day that had come in for food support. And it's not just food, it's electric, it's utilities, it's rent, it's everything else. So, difficult times. So, the thing of it is, when you go shopping, buy an extra can of something and put it in a bag. And when you get a bag, take it up to it. But it's very important to do that. And that's all I have. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Howard. Ms. Bravo.
I want to thank you ladies for